Hi, Karen here. Congratulations, you made it into law school. That's a big achievement.
You got into Harvard Law?
What, like it's hard?
And I'm going to give you the top 5 tips for not only surviving law school, but doing extremely well at law school and when you want to become a lawyer after that. So stay tuned, and of course I'm keeping the best tip for the last. Now, one tip I have is to form a study group. It doesn't work for everybody, but it totally worked for me. I'm the one who gathered the 6 people together and formed my little group. I could see and perceive who are the people that are going to work together the best. And my biggest tip for that tip, pick the smartest person in the group. It becomes pretty apparent pretty quickly who's the actually smartest person. I picked the smartest person. It was amazing. He helped all of us through law school that first year. We only used it for the first year, but it was invaluable. If you have flexibility in which courses you can take, then put them all together. And I know that it'll be tough because you have 4 solid hours of courses or something of that nature. But it's far better to have 4 solid hours of courses and then you're off for the rest of the day. So when people go in for an hour, have an hour off, go an hour, have an hour off, forget it, because you want to concentrate your focus on the work and then you have the rest of the day off. In the upper years where you have more flexibility, and this applies to any program, not just law, don't just pick exam courses. What I used to do was pick 3 exam courses, 1 presentation course and 1 essay course. And I would make sure I'd get the essay done in the first month of term, and then I would do in the second month the presentation, so that would leave me the remaining months for 3 exams, just 3. Not only does it lessen the pressure on you during exam time, it also enhances your ability to write an essay and to make a presentation. And quite frankly, I can't think of any job, not just in the legal forums, but any job, you need to be able to write well, you need to be able to make a presentation. Build up your CV with the stuff you do at law school. There are only so many hours in a day, and I get that. But try to think, again, it looks good on your CV if you've participated in something at the actual law school. My little hint is pick things that are very short in duration rather than something more extensive like the law journal or something of that lasts a whole year. I was in my 2nd or 3rd year, I can't remember, I was the orientation chair person. So for the new people starting, I was the upper person that had organized that week. But yes, it did impinge a bit on my summer, but it was just over with in the first week. Also too, usually when they have these things to organize, you're usually paired up with a professor. So it's really fun to get to know some of these people on a first name basis and on a more casual basis because you're doing this volunteer work. Another thing that I did at the end of law school, I was the graduation chair, so I got to organize that, which was really, really fun. But again, it's just a small, discreet thing that I did. I organized a couple of conferences, just a small thing, but then it goes on your CV. And some of the more long-term things, say you belong to the human rights organization or something like that. That's something that, yes, you dip in and dip out of whenever you can. Volunteer in the area that you're really interested in. This applies to any university program, but especially for law because you have to make these contacts in order to create a legal career. So the 2 areas that I was really passionate about were human rights issues and medical legal law. And I volunteered for an organization that helped disabled people access the legal justice system. And then I also joined the Medical Legal Society. Now, the disabled organization was incredibly rewarding. I organized conferences with that. I met a lot of the consumers. I was with that organization for years. I was on the education committee first, and then I actually was one of the people on the legal list of volunteers that help people. But the contacts that I made there were lifelong contacts and were very, very helpful. And it looks great on your CV. The second one, Medical Legal Society, every large city in the UK and in Canada and probably the United States, so I haven't done the research on it, has a medical legal society. And this is a society that's made up of lawyers and doctors. It's a volunteer thing, and they're trying to come up with ways to communicate better and make things easier for the people that need to access their services. And they always do really, really interesting things. And I could not believe it when I joined the Medical Legal Society. I was the first law student that had ever done that and even thought about it. The Medical Legal Society that I worked with was invaluable at picking up contacts. Who were members of the Medical Legal Society? The top lawyers in their field. The top doctors in their field, consultants, surgeons. I got to know them all on a first name basis, and they got to know me. I cannot tell you how many contacts I made with that I still am friends with today. Now, I have saved the best tip to last. It is just for the legal people, but I'm going to share with you how I developed my own way of summarizing case law. You may realize very quickly in law school you're going to learn an incredible amount of case law. So this is the way that you do it. Obviously you're going to read it over, but you're going to summarize every case that you read using 4 letters. F-I-D-R. F-I-D-R. F stands for facts, I stands for issues, D stands for decision, and 4 stands for ratio. And I use that structure. I still use it today when I read over a case. It's all about training your brain. Remember, you're exercising your brain to think a completely different way. That's what law school teaches you to do. It teaches you to think. Facts. What are the actual facts of the case? Not things they're not certain about, but the actual facts that they're actually looking at. And what you're going to try to do too is pare them down to a bare minimum, because there'll be lots of facts thrown in there, but it's actually not relevant to the case. So that, again, teaches you what's important factually and what's not important. The issue of the case, or there may be more than one issue, but the issue is what is the court is actually being asked to decide. Then the decision of the court, that includes the rationale for why they reached that decision. The D part is the long part. So you're going to not just be looking at, oh, they decided in favor of this side. What you're doing is going through methodically how they reached that decision and what did they rely on. So the D part's the long part. You're analyzing how the court reached their decision. The last one, R, ratio. That sounds like Horatio.
My name is Caine, Miami, CSI.
The ratio of the case, of course, is what is the principle that is now going to be applied to all the other cases that are quite similar to that. Remember, judges say a lot in their decision that is not actually going to form part of the actual ratio of the case. You probably will come across the term obiter fairly quickly. Judges will say things on the side which are just obiter remarks. It's not the actual ratio of the case. So again, it's all about focusing your mind as to what is the actual thing that the judges are going to be applying now to future cases. And again, you're going to try to summarize that as succinctly as possible. So it's all about minimization. You've got a case that is 25 pages long, and my goal was always to try to get it to 1 page. Now sometimes you can get it to half a page. That's brilliant. But to reduce 25 pages to 1, again, it's about training your brain. So those are my top 5 tips for going to and surviving law school. I really am jealous of the fact that you're going to law school. They really were the best years of my whole educational experience. And I just think it's terrific. Congratulations, you made it. You've got lots of interesting stuff ahead of you, and you've got a whole interesting career ahead of you as well. So congratulations and good luck.